What's up, homegirls? Welcome to Benevolence, where kindness matters and all are welcome to the table. We are your hosts, Ceci
and Nisha. Benevolence is a ministry where we uplift and encourage through topics of conversation that are important in our Christian walk.
We are going to get real. We will focus on topics that we're curious about and what many are afraid to talk about.
We saved the seat just for you. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it.
You are listening to episode 4, Unpopular Opinion.
What's up, homegirl?
What's up, homegirl?
How are you, Nish?
I'm doing good. How are you, Seth?
I'm good. It's Monday.
Yes.
I'm tired.
Yes, and it was a beautiful day out here in Georgia. Super nice today.
It's so hot. It's getting hot
really?
Here in Florida. Yes, girl.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, it's in the 90s. So it's like,
wow.
It's pre-summer. So
yeah,
it's really,
it's like
really
hot
bad.
over here, but it's like windy. So there's like a nice breeze. So it's like super nice. Like I went for a walk today, and it was beautiful outside. So I love the weather over here.
That's awesome. How's your heart, Nish?
My heart is good. Today, my heart is great. So I thank God for that. How's yours?
My heart is good. My heart is good. I'm at a good place. I'm excited for summer. I have 14 days left of school.
Yes, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm so happy. So yeah, I'm at a good place right now. This is like my happiest season. Like
really?
Because every time school's about to end, I'm like the happiest.
Yes.
So you will see Ceci.
You're like super happy.
Yeah, like you will see me the happiest that I could ever be in May and June and July, and that's it. And then you'll see me like get all depressed and sad again.
Do you have any vacation plans this summer?
I do.
Ooh.
And I think that's even more like the reason like why I'm so excited is because we plan a trip to Puerto Rico.
Woohoo!
So we're actually going to be going in June, the second week of June, and we're just so excited. Everything's booked.
So exciting.
And we're taking my parents with us, and Victoria's never gone to Puerto Rico.
That's so awesome. Yeah. I'm actually going on a cruise this summer, and I'm going to Puerto Rico too.
You are?
That's one of the stops. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm finally gonna see Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican. I never went to Puerto Rico.
You've never been to Puerto Rico?
I've never been to Puerto Rico.
Nisha, what the heck, bro?
Yeah, so finally I'm super excited.
That's awesome. And who are you going on the cruise with?
With my aunts, my cousins, my parents. It's like a whole family.
It's a whole family thing. That is so exciting. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for today's episode.
Oh my goodness.
I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about some unpopular opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's going to get a little spicy, a little juicy. We actually created a list together to talk about these unpopular opinions. The first unpopular opinions we're going to talk about is the Christian unpopular opinions.
Yes.
Are you ready, Ceci?
I'm ready. I am a little nervous because, unpopular opinions are very unpopular.
Yes.
And, people have their opinions on certain things.
Yes.
And I don't want our listeners to feel some type of way. But honestly, Benevolence is a space where kindness matters. All are welcome to the table, including our opinions.
Yes.
So, just putting a disclaimer out there, we're going to get real. We're going to get real. And we're going to talk about things that, I'm sure people don't talk about as often. Mm-hmm. That's why they're called unpopular.
Yeah.
So as you listen to this episode, just keep an open mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. These are just our opinions.
These are just our opinions. We still love you. We still love Jesus. Yeah. We don't want you to get all mad and be canceling Benevolence podcast. Just keep an open mind because, everybody's allowed to say what they feel and feel, So I just want to put that out there.
Yes.
But let's go.
We have some random unpopular opinions as well. So it's not just the Christian ones.
Yes.
All right. So the first unpopular opinion is I don't trust mega churches / televangelists. What do you think about that, girl?
Okay, so I can see where somebody doesn't trust mega churches or televangelists. Back in the days when we were younger, Generation Z or Gen Z, they don't know about this life.
Yeah,
but you and I know about this life. Especially you, because your dad watches a lot of Christian channels.
Yes.
So you know, and you've seen firsthand, like, you know, evangelists, you know.
Yeah.
There's some good ones. There's some great
ones. Televangelists are like, they know what they're doing. And like, I don't feel like they're trying to get our money. But then there's some out there that I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah.
But
and I think it's that. I think it's the money. I think, you know, the way that they maybe ask, you know, back in the 2000s, you know, when TV was more of a thing and the streaming services weren't, you know, we had to watch TV and there was Christian channels and we had, you know, to watch these channels and these preachings and you would hear them there asking for money or they will have like a telethon and you had to call in and give a donation. And like, I can see where that rubs people the wrong way.
So I can see it too.
That's definitely like, I can see that.
Yeah, you just got to rely on your discernment whenever you're like watching something and just choose, you know, wisely. If you decide to donate money or whatever, that's on you. And if you feel like it's, you know, they're doing it for the right cause, I think it's okay. It just, I don't know. You just got to have the right discernment.
Yeah. Well, then I don't even know if that happens anymore because we have YouTube now. So it's like,
but I think it still happens, girl.
It still happens? Oh God.
Yeah.
I haven't had cable in years, so I don't know what is happening out there. But I will say, not all churches are like this. Not all churches
at all.
You know, so just go with your gut, you know, go with your discernment.
Yeah.
All right. Unpopular Christian opinion. I don't think regularly attending church is a necessity. Gonish, what do you think about this?
Okay, for me, I think it benefits me to go regularly and just be involved in community. But I do believe that there's some people that they don't really need that. They don't need that community. They just want to make sure their relationship with God is good. But I think it is beneficial to be in community. That's just my opinion. Like, I think it benefits me, like being around people that love God, being around people that are encouraging me in my walk with Christ. I think it's important to me. What about you, Sassy?
I agree. I feel like, especially in this season of transition for us, I know that, you know, you went straight into another church, but like from my experience, like we didn't go to church for a while before we found the church that we're attending now. And it was difficult. Like it was hard. It was like a withdrawal. And I kind of felt I needed that community. I needed to be with other believers, you know? Yes, it's important to like focus and focus on your relationship with God. And like, that's like so important. But honestly, community is so much more important as well. Not more important, but it's so important because you need to be with other believers. You need to know that there are people just like you who are suffering and being challenged. And, you know, you need to be in that community because you guys were able to lift each other up instead of bringing each other down. Exactly. Like if you're hanging out with the wrong people, obviously they're going to bring you down. You know, you need people to keep you accountable. You need people to help you and pray for you, you know, in your time of need. So I think if you're like in leadership, you do need like a time of sabbatical. I do believe in that, like, you know, for your own time. But I think community in itself, like after like that sabbatical is good to have. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. All right. Our next one.
You state this one because this one, like, you really brought this one on the list.
Yeah, this one I brought into the list because I really, truly, I liked it. So Erin Lashley Dooley, I'm quoting something that she placed on her social media. And if you don't follow her, you can go ahead and follow her. I follow her. She's really cool. She is a pastor as well. But she put the unpopular opinion that God is in the gray. And what I like about this is, you know, a lot of us are raised that God is just black and white. He's yes or no. You know, he's this and that. But like, we don't see him in the gray. We don't see him in those areas, you know, of like uncertainty or mystery and wonder. And something that she says here that I love, it says, we shouldn't think that God is as black and white as we grew up believing. He's in the gray, he's in the liminal spaces, the marginalized, the unfamiliar places, the mystery and wonder, the uncertainty and sacred questioning. He says, behold, there is beauty here, for I am also here.
That's
and
good.
What I love about that is that God is omnipotent. He is omnipresent. He can be
everywhere,
anywhere at one time. So when you say that God is just black and white, it's like you're limiting.
Yeah.
You're limiting God. You know what I mean?
I agree.
God is in the mystery and the wonder. He's, and I love those words because it's true. Like, he's in there, and it's nice to know that even in our dark spaces and our dark seasons, like he's there. He's in there. There's beauty in those seasons, of dryness, of uncertainty, of darkness. He's there. He's there with us. And I like that, because a lot of people put God in a box and just label him black and white. But no, he's in the gray. So I like that.
Yeah. That's such a good reminder. Next one is, you can still be friends with those who leave your church. We aren't in gangs. What do you think, Ceci?
Well, you should do this one, because I answered the last one.
I know.
Go ahead.
So I believe that you can still be friends, because obviously we don't go in the same church, to the same church no more, and we're sisters. We're the bestest friends. So I think it's possible. There are other people that, I'm sure there are other people that surround you in church. They're not as close, you're not as close to them. And I know you experience this too. That, it's a little bit easier to kind of like let go of those friends, because it was more of like, I don't know how to explain it.
It was like, how do we say it in a nice way?
Acquaintances.
Yeah. But there were there were some people that like genuinely were, I believe that they were like good friends. And it is a little sad how like in a season of transition. Yeah,
there were some really good friends. I agree with that.
Yeah, that like,
and I feel like those people, like when you see them, it's like, oh my gosh, like it's like back to the, like if you never left. So I think it's possible to stay friends with people that, even though you don't talk as much, when you see them, it's like nothing, like you never left. So I do believe that.
And I would encourage those that have not reached out to others because they have left the church or whatever. Yeah. Like if they were really a big part of your life, like keep them in your life. Like why does the church have to determine whether somebody's your friend or not? And I don't like that. Like, it's like, reach
and I feel
out to
a lot
them.
I feel like a lot of people that that I probably don't talk as much to, their family. And like, I feel like maybe life has gotten like, kind of gotten crazy, that it's been hard to reach out to people. Cause I'm not gonna lie. Like I take that to myself too. Like, you know what I mean? Like life is crazy. And, I could probably reach out to more people that I've talked to like all the time over there in church. So, I think we all have to put effort in.
Yeah, it's a two-way street with that one.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. All right. Next one. Nisha. Church members should Church members should be put on discipline when they, quote unquote, fall into sin. So before you go into that, Nisha, for our listeners who aren't familiar with the Christian jargon of falling into sin. Falling into sin is when, you're sinning, and usually
everybody sins.
Everybody sins. But there's like this
when
category,
you get caught for something like that's like
you get caught or you kind of confess and everybody labels you as the falling into sin. He fell, she fell into sin. It's so annoying. But anyways, tell me what you think. Church members should be put on discipline when they fall into sin.
So that one's a little tough to answer. I don't truly believe in the word discipline. Mm-hmm. I believe in like restoration and being there for the person that might have fallen into sin or confessed something. I don't believe in the word discipline because I know people that have been disciplined and without accountability and without restoration, and they're just like put to the side. And I don't believe in that because I believe God is as a God of grace. And I believe if someone is like just happens to get caught with something or happens to confess on something, I don't think they should be put to the side and just disciplined and like forget about them. They're like never gonna sing again, or they're never going to preach again, or they're never going to be involved again, or whatever the case may be. I don't believe in that. I believe that maybe you should handle the situation in like, hey, you know, we found out about this, but I want to help you in the season and encourage you in the season, and not necessarily just cast them out. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I was never really put on discipline, but I know of people that were put on discipline, and it was rather harsh because there was no accountability, and there was like, oh, I'm there for you, I'm gonna help you, but then it was not like they were not given the restoration that they should have gotten, and then then the person that is on discipline grows bitter, and then eventually they're leaving the church because you know that's like unfortunately the cycle. And it's so sad. And we've seen so many people leave the church. And we've seen so many people hurt because they're put on discipline. So I agree with you. I don't like the word discipline. And, you know, we grew up with that. Like disciplina. That was like, oh, you know, él está en disciplina. He's in discipline. She's on discipline. Like, what is that? Like, what is that? Where, like,
I agree. I agree.
I don't even know what else to say. It's sad that we had to wait until our 30s to see and to, you know what I mean? To look back and like, and realize that, you know, we were kind of just like molded into this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We were like molded.
It was a lot harder. I feel like back in the day it was a lot harder. Like
it was a lot
pastors
harder.
Were a lot harder on people, on church
they were
members,
a lot
harsher on or whatever. So I'm hoping that now it's better, and I don't know though.
I don't know either.
Hopefully they've learned from their mistakes. So, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
So the next Christian unpopular opinion is celebrity pastors should be held accountable for their actions if they cross the line in any negative way.
Okay. Well, okay.
What do you think about that?
I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be honest because this is Benevolence podcast, and we need to be honest. So I'm going to talk about the one. And why are you getting red?
We don't have to say the name. I think we can just say the situation that happened.
That's fine. But don't be like gagging like last time. Okay. So.
But, okay. I will say he was held accountable.
Okay.
And that person did.
No. I know. But I think like maybe the unpopular opinions, maybe not. Celebrity pastors should be held accountable. Okay. So okay. So there's two things with celebrity pastors. Obviously, celebrity pastors should be held accountable for their actions if they cross the line in a negative way. The one that I'm going to talk about, yes, he was held accountable for his actions. I believe that the other 4 names that are on that list on our notes, they're held accountable because
and they admitted
it, and they're not like they're not, you know, in leadership position. But I will say there are some people who put celebrity pastors on this pedestal, and they don't like they're clouded by they're clouded, and they don't see that they're actually like human beings. They make mistakes, you know what I mean? And like there are people that idolize these celebrity pastors when they're honestly
just like
they're
us.
regular people. They're humans, right?
Yeah, and they're gonna fall, and they're gonna
fall,
up.
and they're gonna mess up. So there is one particular pastor. I'm not gonna say any names, but there's one particular pastor that unfortunately, he's a celebrity pastor, but he kind of rubs me the wrong way. He kind of rubs me the wrong way, and it's because in the beginning, he had like very humble beginnings. Like, it was very humble, you know, and then he was given the platform, which, you know, God bless him. God bless his ministry. You know,
great speaker,
great evangelist, great pastor, you know, great church, you know. His church grew to like thousands and thousands and thousands of people in like a short span of years. But then I started to see this particular individual, you know, wear the Gucci's and wear the Yeezys and wear the Christian Dior's and stuff. And I'm not saying that they cannot wear those things, because God only knows that if I had that money, I would probably be wearing the same things too. But it went from like humble beginnings to like, boom, lavish lifestyle. And it was like the way that it was being portrayed on social media, it rubbed me the wrong way, bro. Yeah. Because it was like we didn't see that in the beginning, and we saw opportunity, and we saw that particular, you know, pastor getting the leadership and getting, you know, exposure and getting the opportunity of having a huge, large church and a huge building and all of that. But then little by little, I started to see things that were like, like, he's probably not showing off, but I don't know, the lavish lifestyle that he's now living and he's showing on social media, like, it rubs me, Sassy, the wrong way. Because like TD Jakes, like, bro, I freaking love that man, bro. And I know he be wearing, you know, $1,000 suits and like Rolexes, but he looks the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he looks good. He looks like, you know, all nice and like, you know, él es viejito, he's an older man, so he's wearing his suits, you know? Yeah. But he's like been the same. Like, he's I've never seen a different side of him of portraying this lavish, you know what I mean? Lifestyle.
I think what you're stating is more of like, that person that you're referring to is more vocal on it and more showy on it. Showy. Like he showcases that.
Yes, like there was one thing that he posted that I think that was my turning point, where he pulls up to his church in a Lamborghini. He's not even driving it. And then he just pulls out from the the passenger seat, talking to the camera. Like if he's going to the NBA finals, he just walked on stage, like was all good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, eso no sé, eso que, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it correctly, but it just didn't. Yeah, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah, it just didn't resonate well with my spirit. And I'm not saying anything about him, like about he's reaching the souls. God is using him. God is working with him. God is doing his, you know, his thing with him. But it's not my cup of tea. Yeah. You know? And, you know, if we don't want to go there, but I'll go there. You know, he did something, I don't know if it was this year. Was it this year or was it last year?
Last year, I think. I don't know.
I think it was the end of last year where he kind of went a little too far. It seemed like he had gotten consent from the person that he did
we don't know
the act on, but we don't know. But he basically tried to do a legit
Hawker
Jesus. He wanted to do a cantata, not cantata. He wanted to do what's it called? Illustrated. And then thank you. An illustration of Jesus with a freaking blind man, and he's for hawking spit, like literally hawking spit and putting his freaking spit on another man's eye. And now everybody knows. Now our listeners know. But it's fine. I'm just not gonna say any names because I don't want to, you know. But I don't think that was cool. Like that's not cool, niche. Like I'm sorry, bro.
That was a little too far. I'm not gonna lie. I personally almost like threw up And just thinking about it, like, it makes me want to gag. But yeah, I think that was a little too far. I know he did apologize, that he went too far. So I'm glad he did apologize, because there's other pastors that do things that they won't even like say anything about it. And they'll just kind of put it under the rug. So I do appreciate that he did, state that he did go too far, because it was all over social media. Like, there was like no denying, like, that was crazy.
So. That was tough. And I understand, like, I can see the intent. I know.
Yeah, the intent.
I know he was trying to
do.
Yeah. But it's like reaching to unbelievers, like unbelievers seeing that, it can cause someone.
And I think the hawker, like, moving, like, oh, I can't even think about it.
Why are you even talking about it though?
I know. Let me not even say anything, because I'm gonna probably like gag all over this place. So yeah.
But yeah, so that's definitely an example of where we just need to be careful. We need to continue to pray for our celebrity pastors. We need to pray for those that are in, like, high up their leadership, the Elevation pastor, Stephen Furtick, Michael Todd, the VU Church pastor, the Wilkerson guy, all of those pastors that are up there in platforms that, worldwide, that people know them, we just need to continue to pray for them. And what we need to realize that they're just people, and they're human, and they're going to make mistakes. So, it's important that we don't idolize them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's that. Yeah. All right, so my next one. Oh, I like this one. So the next Christian unpopular opinion is that you are not enough. So you are not enough. And this is basically goes with how the self-love culture is a very dangerous territory.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nisha?
I think for that one, I think we always say to each other in a way that, knowing that what we're saying is, like, let's say, I'll tell you, like, you are enough. And the reason we say that is because the only reason you're enough is because God is enough. And I feel like nowadays it's like the manifestation, the whole, like, I am going to be a millionaire, which, you could probably will. Yeah. But like the whole, like, manifesting, like, who you are and who you're going to be, I don't really believe in that. I don't believe in manifestation. You know what I mean? And I know that wasn't the unpopular opinion.
No, but I feel like
that is, I feel like that is kind of like where this, where social media is going. They talk a lot about manifestation and manifesting who you are, manifesting who you want to be. So I think we need to be careful with that, because I believe that we are more than enough and we are more than conquerors. But I feel like the only reason we are is because, God is more than enough, and God is the only one that can help us in anything that we do. I don't think we should get to a point where we kind of just take God out of the picture and just, it's all about us and it's all about what we can do to get there, when no, like, I can't get anywhere without Jesus. So exactly. I believe that we are enough, but I believe the only reason we are enough is because of God.
Yeah. And we need to be careful with, like, as believers, we need to be careful, like, with that spiritual manifestation. I'm glad that you brought that up. We need to be careful with that, because it's a new age concept. Yeah. And we don't, as believers, God, that's not, you know what I mean? That's not biblical. You know what I mean? And, like, manifestation is spiritual manifestation is obviously, is that you can bring your dreams and desires into being by regularly meditating and thinking positively. And we're not saying that you can't meditate, but just make sure that you're meditating to Jesus and you're meditating on God. You know what I mean? And you're not just like, meditation is very, it's a common thing for, getting your mind clear of things. Exactly. But we just need to be careful.
And I think us as Christians, we believe in faith. So, like, I have faith that I am going to get through this. I have faith that I'm going to overcome this. Or I have faith that I'm going to, like, it's more of like, I believe that God can do it. But if he chooses not to, amen. You know what I mean? It's not like we're trying to do it on our own strength. It's like we believe that God can, and if he allows that, amen. But if he doesn't, amen too. It's like we're not manifesting it. You know what I mean? We're believing in it, but we're not manifesting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because, we say, oh, speak it into existence. And yeah, we can speak it into existence, but we have to have that faith. I like that. Mm-hmm. We're faith-based. We believe in God. We have faith that he is in our hearts. We have faith that he is going to, help us in life and not lead us to harm. He's going to prosper us, to give us hope and a future. We have that faith inside, and that's what matters, Yeah. So yeah, it's just be careful with that.
Yeah. And whenever I say like, I am more than enough, because I say that to myself all the time, like sometimes you have to remind yourself that you are
absolutely.
Enough, but we do it in a way where like, because like you love me, because you see me, you know what I mean? I am enough because of that. You know what I mean? So
yes,
I do believe that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So the next unpopular opinion is tithes are not important to the church.
Okay, so this one is definitely an unpopular opinion, and we have witnessed it firsthand. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, in predominantly minority churches, tithes is it's really difficult for people to tithe. It's really really difficult. I don't know if it's that they're not understanding how it supports the church. I don't understand. It's kind of hard to explain, because we were raised tithe. And I like the story that you had mentioned to me earlier, that you can tell our listeners that, we were raised to tithe, and what tithing is giving back to God 10% of what
he deserves,
of what he deserves, of what you've gained,
Yeah. And I think as a child, like when I was younger and I would work, with my dad, and I'll get like a paycheck, it was like $70, and I would have to give like $7. It was like, why? Like, why do I have to give? And I didn't understand it at the moment. But then my dad he truly believes that. And I kind of learned from him. And I truly believe that tithing is not just giving to the church, it's giving to God, because you have to be thankful for what God gives you so that you can give back to him. It's basically you're giving back to what he gives you. You know what I mean? So I really believe that tithes are important, but I can understand why people don't want to give, because they don't really understand the importance of giving, because I don't think they understand the concept of like, you're actually giving to God. You're not just giving to a church, And I think if you kind of take the whole, you're giving money to a church out of your mind, it becomes more like you want to give because it's for God. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it just happens to help the church. I know that, and I understand that, but it's like the reason you're giving is because you're giving back to God.
Exactly. And then you had mentioned Leviticus 27:30 that talks specifically about, that the Word of God says to tithe, to give 10% of, your offerings and, to the Lord. And I'll be honest to say, like, when we tithe, it's not that I'm tithing because I want to be blessed, but when I do tithe, things are easier for us at home. Things are easier, financially for us. And God we never lack in anything. But I will say, I've seen the hand of God, or I have not seen, when we stop tithing or something like that. Like I've seen where there's like a little struggle. There's a little, it's like, it's hard to make ends meet. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, okay, you're going to tithe just so that God can bless you, but there's an importance in that, and giving back to God and supporting the church that you attend, and God, God really supplies all your needs, according to his riches and glory. So tithes are important, and I know that's like a very, very sticky situation, but as believers, and especially as minorities, as Hispanics and African Americans, like we need to start, maybe like, if you don't know what tithing is, I would like highly recommend just just going into the internet and looking that up, or, looking up YouTube videos that talk about tithing, or if you go to a church, maybe ask a leader what they think. I think it's important to get some insight on what tithing is and how it's benefiting the church, at least the church that we came to or came from. It was definitely helping support everything that had to do with the facility, even missions. It helped missionaries, and when the church is very open with what they're receiving and what they're doing with the money, then you can probably feel more at peace that your tithe or your offering is going into good hands and is being used for a purpose to advance his kingdom.
I totally agree.
So that's
all
good.
Right. All right, so should we do some random topics?
Yeah, this is going to be...
We can do a few.
Yeah, this is quick. So the first one, these are just random. We're done with the Christian unpopular opinions. Obviously, if you have any more unpopular opinions, you can always DM us and stuff like that. There's so much more, but if we don't cut this, we're going to be here for hours. So we just hit up on the main ones that we thought were very interesting. But some random ones is, first, cancel culture. Cancel culture. Cancel culture does not work because they're inconsistent. What do you think?
Cancel culture does not work because they are inconsistent.
Okay, so celebrities. I'll show you the only one that comes to my mind of being canceled was DaBaby.
Yeah.
Remember that one, DaBaby? He said some homosexual remarks, like anti-homosexual remarks back in the beginning of his career. And now the radio station will not play the song that he did with Dua Lipa, Levitating.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They will not, I hear all the time, they will not play the DaBaby version, because of what he said. So it's cancel culture, dang. But I feel like when people really do things that are terrible, for example, this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation. Was so pissed because yesterday I go to my father-in-law's house.
Yeah.
And they showed Aquaman on TV. And I'm like, why?
As you can see, we're on Johnny Depp's side.
I'm sorry, I'm so on Johnny Depp's side. But the thing is that Johnny Depp was stripped away from all of his endorsements and everything. So what about Amber Heard?
Yeah.
What about all of the proof that we have that she abused this man? If he abused her, it doesn't matter. She abused him. They abused each other. So if Johnny Depp is getting...
they both have to be
They both. If Johnny Depp is getting his endorsements and everything stripped away from him, then Amber Heard needs to be done. She needs to be done. They should not be playing Aquaman on freaking TV. I'm very passionate.
We're very passionate, really passionate about this whole case because it's going on right now, and we have to wait a whole week to watch the next part of the trial.
I can't believe it. So, anyways, go ahead.
So I agree with that. But let's do the next one. So men should not be allowed in female restrooms. There should be a gender neutral option.
Tell me what you think, Nish.
Okay, so I kind of like the idea of a gender neutral option, and the only reason I'm thinking of that is because I think of Maki, your daughter, Victoria, and I know you're very passionate about this too because that's your daughter, and I don't think you would want her to see kind of a man that's dressed as a woman in the women's bathroom. Because then I'm not sure if you have had the conversation with your daughter yet. So you don't want her exposed to that until you're ready. So I think you'll like the gender neutral idea too.
Yeah, I agree. I think more of I'm not anti transgender LGBTQ. I'm not. But if we're going
if there was an option.
Yeah, and if we are going to give everyone equal opportunity, I would prefer a bathroom where both genders can go in. Only because there are pedophiles out there. There are males that are trying to take advantage of children and women. And, you know, what if they have no affiliation, you know, with being transgender or, you know, just changing their pronouns? They're just, you know, they're just being pervs, or they're just trying to be, you know, pedophiles, and they're trying to go into a female restroom when they're not even, you know what I mean? They don't affiliate themselves as a female. And I think that's very dangerous.
Yeah,
it's dangerous. I think it's just dangerous. I don't know. That's just my opinion. So especially as a mom, like, now we have to be even more careful. And now we have to, like, sending our daughters to the bathroom and all this stuff, and our sons to the bathroom, because it could happen vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, we just need to be mindful. So I think that that's an unpopular opinion that I kind of agree with. There should be an option for sure.
For sure. All right. What do you think of boys struggle with body image? Do you think that's true?
Yes. Yes. Boys struggle with body image for sure. Yeah, we can move on with that.
Yeah. All right. Period products should be free. Yes.
Yes, please. I'm tired of buying pads.
I'm so bad. Like, for real. And like, especially like for me, like, I am a heavy period person.
It's a crime scene. It's a crime scene investigation up in there. And I believe that, like, we spend a lot of money on pads, and like, it's a lot. And especially if we're getting the big bulky ones from the front to the back.
The long ones too. The long
you know,
ones for the butt.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, period products should be free. And I feel like that we need to stop with, like, the stigma of talking about periods and like pads. My school is so amazing. My school prepared like little baskets of like tampons, pads, and they gave it to all the classrooms. And we need to display it on the table, like right there. Just to like kind of like normalize this. Like, boys need to just back off. If you ain't bleeding, don't worry about it. But you should be able to know what a pad is and just move on with your life, you know? So I love that my school's doing that. Go ahead.
The next one is kind of funny. You should say it because I know that you've been
Oh my God, I'm so passionate about this. No one wants to follow your workout page. Okay, so let me explain. So I have had quite a few people who I know, which is kind of like even more annoying, that they'll start off a nice conversation with me through a DM, and they'll be like, "Hi, Ceci, how are you?" And like, I'm like, oh, genuinely like happy that this person, you know, reached out to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm doing well. You know, this, you know, same old Victoria, Mom, how are you? And then they reply, oh, I'm doing great. You should follow my Fit page. And then, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, bro? Seriously, you reached out to me. And you're telling me about your workout page.
Yeah.
And then like, there was also this very famous hair product a year ago during the pandemic that people were just on. They were just on it and popping through social media. And I will get those.
Follow my page.
Follow my page.
Buy this.
Oh, someone even asked me, what kind of products do you use for your curly hair? They asked me that on Instagram, Nisha. And then I'm like, oh, I use like Tresemme, which is a terrible product to use. Tresemme. I use Cantu, which is another terrible product to use. And they're like, oh, well, you should try out my, I'm not going to say the name, my blank product. So annoying.
Oh my gosh. But I will say, like, I have found some good motivational fit pages that are motivational and whatever. But I feel like it's different when they like message you to follow their page and like they haven't talked to you in like years. So I do agree with that. All right. So the next one is, you do not need an education to be successful. You just need to know the right people. Do you believe in that? True or false?
I think so. You need to know people. There's so like,
I feel like an education is important.
It is.
But if you can't because of money or whatever, I think if you're around the right people, you can definitely be successful.
Yeah, I think if you put yourself out really there, you network with people, I mean, you can go up the ladder. I think so.
Yeah.
All right, next one is blood ain't thicker than water.
Blood ain't thicker than water.
You know how people say blood is thicker than water? Blood ain't thicker than water.
I mean, I have a really tight family, so I think I don't know. What we should ask someone. What do you think, Zaz?
I mean, blood is thicker than water, but for some people, blood ain't.
Yeah, and that's understandable. And they're dysfunctional families. They have the right to kind of like, you know, if they feel like it's too much for them to be around their family members. I think if it's messing with their mental health, I think they should take some time and pray for them, and hopefully it gets better. But if it doesn't, I think your mental health is important. So
yeah. Okay, next one. Working yourself into an early grave shouldn't ever be the best thing anyone can do. Your career isn't and should never be the most important thing in your life. Ooh, this one's kind of deep.
I mean, I do believe that people work to their death. Like, it's unbelievable. I sadly, people have to work super hard, you know, because this economy is crazy. And I've seen old viejitos, man, working like viejito. They look like they're like 85 and they're like still working because they have to. Sadly. But if you had a choice, you know what I mean? I think it should never be important, like more important than your life. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that one. All right, let's go. I am not a fan of Hamilton.
Obviously, you agree with that one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great musical. It was amazing, theatrical. You know, musically, lyrically, the storyline, the songs, everything is the arrangements, phenomenal. But there are fans out there, and I'm like,
yeah. I mean, I watched the whole movie and it was great, but it's not something that I would watch like every day. Like I'm not like the biggest fan where it's like I have to watch it every day.
People have it memorized.
Watch it. Yeah, it's good.
Anyways, yeah.
Wow, today I love this episode. There were some spicy little unpopular opinions, and we just want to remind you guys that this was just our opinion, so please do not attack us.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and if you have your own opinions or if you agree with us or don't, like hit us a DM. It's all good. Yeah. Like, you know, like we're just trying to be real, and we're just trying to like have you guys know what we think about certain things. But we hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Benevolence Podcast. Yes. We pray that you have a blessed week, and we will see you next week in the next episode. All right.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
So as we finalize this episode of Benevolence, we just want to remind you that you will always have a seat at the table. You are loved, you are chosen, and you have a purpose.
Yes, so thank you all for tuning into Benevolence, where kindness matters and all are welcome to the table.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Benevolence Podcast for more fun posts and videos.
Benevolence Podcast is available on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for next Monday's episode of Benevolence. You don't want to miss it. Bye!